So let me start with a simple analogy and contrasting what do I mean by a leadership mindset. The biggest danger is every time we say, oh, must have positive attitude, positive mindset, and we tend to walk away with that. Now, from my perspective, that doesn't work because that's like trying to force yourself. So this example kind of contrasts between what we call a pessimistic leader and an optimistic leader. So pessimistic, negative, optimistic is positive. Now, so let's start. We use an example. So this is not a complete example. It's a simple example. The focus is on belief about people. So belief about my employees. So let's say this leader is he believes people are lazy. They cannot be trusted. So some of the thought process that goes in is like we need to tell them what to do. So it tends to be very micromanaging at times, or it tends as well as we need to monitor them. So question: what are the potential maybe policy or processes they may come with? It might be something like those who are late will be penalized. Question is, how is it impacting people? So it possibly could likely be that employees become very cautious because they're under the microscope. They come on time and then they go back. They go back when the boss go back because they realize the boss, and after a while they will notice the behavior in the boss or the manager is if people go back early or on time, they assume people are lazy. They are very particular about timing. So everybody waits for the boss to go back. So that's what happens. Let's look if the mindset or the belief about people is someone who says people are looking for opportunity to do great work, right? So this is talking about belief, not what we say, but what we believe. Now, if people are looking for opportunity to do great work, then part of the thinking process is we need to understand what makes them bring their best to work. Now, if this is the thought process that goes in them, it's more likely they will come to a conclusion, let them work wherever they want, as long as the job is completed. So part of the process will be work from home, not just because of MCO, but work from home or work from whatever you want, as long as the result is done. Because as a leader, I believe if you put yourself in an environment that you are happy with, you are more likely to do great work. Translation: employees see their workplace as a home because they go there to access certain information. At the same time, their focus is on completing the work. So hopefully this gives you a contrast about how the belief of the leaders affects the culture in the workplace. This is what we call a individual exercise. So you do not need to type in for a job for me to look. What you need to do is take out a piece of paper, and this is what we call self-awareness exercise, for you to perhaps understand your own beliefs and values, as well as to from that to maybe have some make sense of how some of the things that's happening for you or your team, as well as some of the challenges that you're facing, right? So I'm going to show you these 3 questions. I'm going to give you about a minute. You can write. At the same time, if some of you have questions, please post the question to Joss. But for those of you who are open to experimenting with this exercise, this is definitely going to help you have more clarity, because leadership and change always starts with the leader. So these are the 3 questions. What are my values and beliefs about my organization? How do you see your organization? So that's question 1. Question 2, what are my values and beliefs about my role? So, which means as the leader, I'm supposed to fill in the blanks. And final question, what are my values and beliefs about my people, my employee? How do you view them? The first question, which is about organization, gives you a sense of how much you see yourself as part of the organization. If you don't see yourself as part of the organization, the likelihood is you're trying to do just enough. You try not to do change, because change is extra work. And you may not highlight issue. The other thing, if you do not see yourself as part of the organization, there is no motivation to understand the industry, to understand the environment, so that you can give positive input. Believe about yourself. Now, believe about your role is important because it gives you a sense of priority in carrying out your task. For example, if you think your role is just to produce results, you will have a tendency to step in your employees' work, push them aside, finish it because they are taking too long or they have made mistakes. So when you do that, you achieve the result, but your employee never develop. And the reason you give yourself is, Isaac, it's urgent, I don't have time. So that's where the belief is important about your role. And finally, the belief about your employees, right? And this talks about how you manage. If you believe that employee cannot take stress, then you tend to give them very low value work. You won't give them high value work. You will tend to keep it, right? So, or you believe that particular employee is not capable, which is funny because you hired the person in the first place. Then you try not to touch the person, right? And that actually affects the way you manage them. So these three questions have these three purposes.